Hi everyone, welcome back. Today's video is going to be a tag video that I only just saw like 10 minutes ago as I was doing my makeup to film for the day. And I needed something else to film and this tag really intrigued me. So I watched Paulina, I hope that's how you say your name. As a Canadian I want to say Paulina, but I don't think that's how you pronounce it in Swedish. So I just watched Paulina's video on the Truthful Beauty YouTuber tag. And I love the questions. It was really insightful and interesting, and I just wanted to film it. So let's dive right into this. The first question is, have you ever received a product, tried it, didn't like it, and then decided not to review it? This does happen occasionally. It usually happens during times where my time or my space on my blog or my YouTube channel is at a premium. And I say at a premium because generally I'm like quite backlogged with reviews on the blog. I usually have like dozens of products I'm trying to get through. And sometimes when I don't feel like a product is that interesting or that special and I felt kind of meh about it, I will sometimes not bother with a review because there are other products I have a stronger opinion on, either positively or negatively. I don't really have a lot of examples of when this does happen, but there was one that sort of stuck in my head, and I think 2 or 3 years ago when Stellar Beauty first launched at Sephora, I'd been sent like 3 of their products, I think, and I ended up not liking really any of them, but I had other blogging friends who did enjoy them, so I was just kind of like, well, whatever, I don't really care about these, so I ended up passing on my products. I think I gave them to Samantha Jane because she had liked the stuff by Stellar Beauty, and I was like, well, here, you take these and you can have a more full comprehensive review because you'll have even more products to try. I had gone back to the brand and been like, sorry, I didn't really enjoy them. I'm not going to be posting this review just because I don't care enough. And I might have told them that I passed my products on to Sam, but they were fine with it. They didn't have an issue, probably because I wasn't going around posting negatively. But for me, it was just one of those situations where I was like, I don't care enough about the products or the brand to use that space on my blog, because it would have been a blog review at the time. So that's one example of how that can happen. But there are other times where you're sent like all kinds of products and you just don't care enough. Not everything makes it to the blog or to YouTube because sometimes there just isn't enough space to talk about everything that somebody is sent. And I do receive quite a few packages from PR, and you kind of pick and choose what you want to talk about. You're not forced to discuss everything, so some things I'm just kind of like about, I don't bother mentioning. Question number 2 is a product you use alone but don't show or use online. I guess there's a lot of limited edition palettes that I use day to day that I don't tend to talk about as frequently in videos just because you can't get your hands on them. But I do bring those palettes and items back in videos occasionally where I've had a video titled like limited edition palettes I still love. So I still like to talk about them, but I don't tend to make them the focus of videos and blog posts currently because it's kind of frustrating if you can't go and buy it. I like to encourage people to go into their collection and, you know, use stuff that they've had for years, but at the same time, I can't be raving and raving about a palette that I got 2.5 years ago that no one can buy anymore. So yeah, I use some things alone that I don't mention as often, but I do try to bring them up every now and then. Question number 3 is product you want but won't buy because you don't support the brand. So I don't support Jeffree Star, flat out, will never buy anything that he puts out. But he released a palette, I don't even know the name of it. I'll put a picture so you can see what it looks like. But it had a matte yellow, a matte coral shade that was quite bright, and then like a pale teal aqua kind of color. And I really liked the color layout of that palette, and I was enticed by like the color story of it, but there's no chance in hell that I would ever buy anything by him. So I just kind of looked at the color story and was like, oh, you're pretty, maybe I can find dupes for you in like Inglot shadows. But I would never get to the point of purchasing it just because it looked pretty, because I detest everything that he stands for. Question number 4 is, do you have any blocked words? And I don't think so. It's not something that I have ever really looked into before on YouTube. I don't think I get enough traffic to attract attention from people where I feel like I need to block particular spam words. So no, I have no blocked words. Question number 5 is, do you delete comments? If so, why? Not frequently, but there are some people that will come on your channel every now and then and spam the crap out of it by saying something like, oh, I love this video, I just post blah 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 on my channel, come check it out. Or they'll post something like, hey, let's be YouTube friends. I delete those comments so quickly because they are so aggravating to me. There's somebody trying to grow their channel by poaching off of you and potentially whoever is reading your comment sections, and I cannot stand it. I will never post that kind of thing on somebody else's video, so I delete all of the ones that show up on my own video. Because the last thing I want to do is give somebody traffic who has been spamming my channel. Because it's quite clear too that they don't actually watch your content and they just want to like get viewers off of you. Oh, I cannot stand those people. I also don't really tend to delete negative comments unless they're really severe, which I don't actually think I've had any. If somebody says something really nasty to me, I usually just fire back with a response, which I know is not the thing that you should be doing, but if they're gonna be snotty to me, I'm gonna go be snotty to them. Question number 6 is, do you block people? And I don't think I ever have. I feel like this is something that I would remember if I had done it, but it's possible that I blocked somebody like 2 years ago that I've completely forgotten about. I don't block people because they're watching your content. So whether or not they like you or hate you, they're still giving you a view on your video and potentially some AdSense revenue. What you can do with these kinds of people, if you don't actually want to hear their comments, is you can mute them. So don't block them from watching your content because you're still getting like the boost from the hits or whatever on your channel, but you can make sure that they never actually say anything on your channel. I've never actually done this, I've just heard of other people doing it and I'm like, that is freaking genius. So if somebody gets to the point of annoying me where I want to block them, I'm not gonna block them, I'm just gonna mute them. Question number 7 is, have you ever lied about a product to stay on good terms with the brand? No, I've never lied, and in fact I've posted some pretty ugly reviews on products that I've been sent from by PR. Honestly, more often than not, when I send that review back to the brand, because I usually circle back and say, hey, the review on X product is now available on my blog or my YouTube channel, click here to see it. They will often respond with, thank you for the constructive criticism. I don't think I've yet to run into a brand that was completely like, you're awful, we don't like what you said about us, please make sure to take it down, or anything like that. More often than not, the brand will respond with, oh, that's interesting, I didn't know that about the product, or please stop using it if you don't feel like it's good for you. The one thing that sticks out when I say that is that the Maybelline Vivid Matte Lacquers, the matte lip gloss that's not matte but is a lip gloss, those burn the heck out of my lips. And when I sent that review back to the PR team, they're like, just stop using it. I don't know what's in that product that's affecting you, but don't worry about it. The review is fine, don't use the product anymore. So I thought that was interesting because I feel like that's a really good response from the PR team, but I never did find out what was in that product that was causing such a reaction on my lips. Anyway, no, I've not lied about a product. Question number 8 is, have you ever initially liked a product when you reviewed it and then changed your mind but didn't let your audience know? And I feel like this happens all the time. The part I don't like about the question is like, where it says, but didn't let your audience know, as if you're keeping it a secret from them. I don't feel like this is the case. If I change my mind on a product, it's not like I feel like I need to keep that from anybody. It's just usually because the video that you're talking about next doesn't involve that kind of product at all, so it feels weird to bring up a product that you previously reviewed. If something like that happens, I'm more than likely gonna mention it on Instagram stories because no one's gonna go back and be like, hey, remember a month ago when I didn't like that palette? Well, now I love it. Like, that's just a weird thing to mention in a video unless it's a favorites video or something like a products I changed my mind on video. So it's not that I've changed my mind on a product and then was like, oh no, I can't tell anybody. It's just because it's not usually the topic of conversation. I can't think of a specific product that I felt like I liked it initially and then changed my mind on, but I will say a category of products that I feel like this happens the most to me with is foundation. I feel like I can try a foundation out, like it enough, and then over a few months' time I just discovered that I don't like it as much as I initially did. But I can't think specifically of what foundation I'm thinking of. I just feel like that happens more often than not with foundation in comparison to any other product out there. Question number 9 is influencer you don't trust. And the two that come to mind when I read this question are Laura Lee and Manny MUA. I feel like those two have ulterior motives for every single thing that they do. Whether they're trying to make money, try to get followers, trying to get something out of their viewership, I feel like they're always creating a narrative that is going to help them. I've actually never been subscribed to either of them. I've just seen a few videos over the years where I just found their personalities so repugnant, and it was quite clear to me anyway that they don't care about people. They just want to make money and they don't really care how they go about it. So Those are two people that I have no interest in, and honestly, when that drama came out about them social climbing recently, I just sort of sat back and laughed and was like, yep, that was my instinct about them, and I don't feel any remorse for what's happened to them. So those are two that I've definitely completely steered clear of. Question number 10 is influencer you trust the most. And that's a hard question because I don't want to like pick one person out of everybody that I watch, because I've got a lot of friends on here, and if I watch them and I subscribe to them, it's because I believe in what they're saying. So anybody that I'm subscribed to, or anybody that you hear me talking about and referencing either in a video or on Instagram or anything like that, is somebody that I feel is a genuine person and I can trust their opinion. Question number 11 is secret tips or product application you don't show well on camera. There's stuff I skip in tutorials because I don't feel like it's that interesting, and I've already usually put out a video on it. So for example, like fake eyelash application or doing my winged liner, I'll usually speed those bits up a little bit just because they could take me quite a long time, and I've already done like a singular video on that application technique. So there's nothing that I'm hiding from people, but there's things that I skip through quickly just because I don't feel like they're that interesting. Question number 12 is, have you ever showed one product but were actually using another? Maybe by accident? I think I've listed the wrong mascara in my description box before, but I've never shown like a CoverGirl mascara and then actually used a Maybelline one. That's a weird thing to do. Question number 13 is, have you ever not disclosed a sponsorship? Nope, I've always disclosed every single one of them. I haven't done any YouTube ones, I've only done ones on my blog. Question number 14 is, have you ever had a bad interaction with a brand? Not that I can think of. In general, most brands are understanding if you send them like a negative review or something like that. I did have a miscommunication once with a PR team, but we resolved it within a few emails, so it wasn't like a horrific experience or anything like that. It was something easy to solve. It involved links on my blog post. It was nothing dramatic at all, but no, in general, I feel like brands are pretty respective of who they're dealing with. That's not always the case. I mean, we saw the whole drama with the Z palette hot plate thing and the horrible words by Jen Gerard Cosmetics. But in general, I mean, I've not had any bad experiences. Question number 15 is, have you ever bandwagoned with other people's thoughts on a particular product? I mean, it happens occasionally, but you don't always realize that it's happening. And I think it's more likely to occur when you're first starting YouTube or you're first starting blogging, because you'll hear somebody say something about a product and you'll be like, ah, that must be how I feel too. But over time, you start to get a little bit more strong and opinionated with your own opinions, that you don't necessarily follow what everybody else is thinking. And honestly, I can't think of anything recently or from like 5 years ago that I've bandwagoned on, but I'm sure it has happened at times. Question number 16, which is the last one, asks, things other creators do that get on your nerves. There's a lot of things. Paulina mentioned this one as well, but when creators stare at the viewfinder for the entire video, it drives me absolutely bananas. Oh, it's so aggravating. I feel like newbie creators do it more often than like seasoned people who've been doing it for years and years and years. But if you're somebody who's been doing YouTube for 2+ years and you're still staring at the viewfinder, like, I can't watch you. It's really difficult to watch somebody staring at themselves constantly because it feels very vain. Like they need to watch themselves in the mirror constantly. I know some people are just not used to staring at the lens, but that's something that you get used to over time, and you realize that you really need to be staring at the lens in order to like make eye connection with your audience. Don't get me wrong, I still look at the viewfinder every now and then, as do most creators, but we're doing it mostly to make sure that we're in focus, not because we're staring at ourselves all the time. The other thing that always drives me bananas, but I feel like less people do it now, is when a YouTuber would start a video, a favorites video with, I don't know where this last month has gone. Oh, I feel like people were doing it every single month in every single favorites video, and I was just like, this is so redundant. Stop saying it. Just get on to the products. The other thing that drives me bananas is something more related to blogging, but it's when a blogger posts beautiful pictures of like their unused lipstick or their eyeshadow palette, and they give you a whole review on why you should or should not buy this product, but they never show you what it actually looks like on their own face. I can't stand stand this. It drives me nuts. When I read a review on the internet, I want to see swatches of the product, I want to see it on your face, and I want to know how it performs. Now you can tell me all of that with your words, but unless you actually show me on your face, your words don't have enough impact. Because there are people out there who will review a product without ever trying it, and I need to actually visually see what it looks like on you before I can make a decision on whether or not I want to buy it. So if you're a blogger who does not put pictures of your face or your eyes or your lips and you're doing a review, like I can't read you. Basically, your review is unhelpful to me. So just a word of warning, if you're a blogger, you need to be putting your face out there, and I know it's awkward and maybe not the most fun thing for everybody, but it's very difficult to be doing beauty reviews if you're not showing your face. Alright, so that was it for the Truthful Beauty YouTuber tag. Hopefully you found this interesting, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!